I was talking to Sarah about that earlier, and she was talking about, or not. Side note, sorry. I just recorded episode 98 earlier today because I told y'all last episode to the Patreons, not you, not NDA sounding niggas. I told the Patreons if they see me in the same outfit that they saw me in 98, that means I recorded 2 episodes in one day. Shout out to me for that. But I just recorded 98 today. So I was just talking to Sarah earlier today.
So I'm getting the sloppy seconds where he's saying.
He knew it came with this. Don't let this nigga fool you. He knew it came with this, okay? He knew he was the sloppy second. He's the one that said, 7 p.m. sounds good. And I was like, sounds great. But I was just talking to Sarah today about this, and we were talking about like how some of her friends, like, they were like, oh, I don't like him. And she explained it, Nelson has acquired taste. He just doesn't wait for you to acquire him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck, that was probably the most accurate description you could have of me. Because I'm definitely like, I'm either you like me or you don't.
Yeah,
and for the biggest part of the time, I don't care.
Yeah, you don't. You really don't.
You're not supposed to agree with that.
He's like, hey, yo, if you don't like me, whatever.
Yeah, accept me as I am.
Yeah, you're going to accept me as I am, but guess what? You got to come to me before I come to you for something. So I got all the resources, so it's
that part. Which
is
funny because I feel like I've had a really good relationship with you from like the moment our homegirl introduced us.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, he's a comedian and blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then you came on the podcast, I was like, oh, I like this guy. I fuck with it. But then I realized like some of my back in the day homeboys knew you too. And they were like, yo, you had Brandon Moore on your podcast? I was like, is this supposed to be somebody?
It's like, yeah, Woodbridge legend.
Low key, but like high key. Like, so when they said it, I was like, oh, okay, this is somebody that's like in the streets.
Yeah.
And then I realized you were like always moving. So then I was like, all right, I got to keep. And this is one of the things I talk about is my business relationships. And you're one of the people that I'm like, I have to maintain a really good business relationship. If I don't like you, nigga, at this point, if I didn't like you, at this point, I'm willing to be like, all right, we're going to have to get over that. Like, this thing is doing too much. It's like, shout out to you, shout out to Tommy McClellan, shout out to Kathleen. But like, there are people like, shout out to Malcolm, where I was like, I need to make sure my friend relationships are good. But my business relationships are the things that I need to like encompass on.
Facts.
And hold to a higher standard. Because at this point, my friendships are good. I don't have to build my relationships my friendships better than they are. But I do need to build my work relationships. So I'm like, all right, Brandon Moore, somebody you keep in your pocket. Kathleen, somebody you keep in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Tom McClellan, somebody you keep in your pocket. Like, you need to continue those relationships because those people have the same drive.
Exactly. Iron sharpen iron. Yep.
And y'all are always working. And obviously, there's other people that have been on the podcast that I'm like, obviously keeping ears on.
Yeah.
Shout out Glenn, shout out Christian, shout out Alec. Like, I'm keeping track. I hate that they're all comedians, but like, I'm keeping track on everybody that's constantly doing something.
Yeah.
Obviously, people that have been on my podcast are dropping new projects. Nico Feem is coming out of the army to finally do some, constant creation. Keith Anthony's been killing it at Full Sail University. Beige is about to drop a new project. I'm keeping track on everybody that's been on the podcast. But it's like, that's kind of different from the business-oriented people.
Exactly.
So, but I understand that there still has to be some life in me. I can't be Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to throw a little Trump in there. Kidding. Kidding. But like in the reality of the situation is like, you can't just be straight business. Sometimes you have to have a little personalities. So I do need to work better at trying to give not just the authentic Nelson in work mode.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to display authentic Nelson. Okay. Podcast me is fine. Podcast me is fun. Podcast me tells good stories. Podcast me laughs a lot. Podcast me is a little bit more fluid in the conversation. Business me is straightforward, stern, and don't have time for the bullshit.
Exactly.
So, and as somebody that like pretty much produced one of your shows, you understand that that's
I get it. Yeah.
And I'll have fun with you guys. I get out there, I try to talk to everybody and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I got a show to run.
Exactly.
So can we like speed this up?
Hey, let's get through this shit. We get all night. We got to talk to these lights at some point.
Right. And then it'd be funny because I know your people be trying to get out here and be like, "Lo, we're trying to go to the next place to drink." And I'm like, Then you missed your opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, last call didn't happen.
You missed your opportunity to talk to me. So, yeah, that's if that could be my sin of the day, it would definitely be like I need to be a little bit more upfront about the authentic me, which is I need to show people my more personable side off their first impression.
Okay.
But I gotta give a fuck about it first.
Yeah.
And my problem is I don't give a fuck about it first.
So it's not gonna be authentic then. That's the thing. If you don't give a fuck about it.
We just came to the conclusion that I'll never hit that. I'll never fix the sin of the day. Because if I enforcing the authenticity, then yeah, you're right. I probably don't give a fuck about it.
You don't give a fuck about it. So
you might be onto something. Yeah, I probably don't give a fuck.
I'm a tad bit smart. I like that though. I like that.
I'm gonna try.
Hey, as long as you try, that's the important part. You put effort into it.
Wait, hold on, time out. No. We're not taking this accountability away from these bitches that be doing that bullshit where it's like, well, I tried to fall in love with you. I just fell in love with him first.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did she fall in love with him or his dick
Shout
first?
out to my exes.
Hey.
My ex is not, my girlfriend is not allowed to have a work husband. That was something I came to last episode.
Okay.
98, the episode you niggas didn't get. But
I can see that.
Yeah, you can't have a work husband.
In this day and the climate with the work atmosphere.
You like that nigga too much.
Exactly. And 9 times out of 10, he's hitting it at work.
You can't have a work husband.
Yeah.
Not the way you women operate these days.
Not these days, yeah. Because he's too much of a listener. And then he can give you a shoulder, and then you're going to be, oh, you know. During your lunch break.
What was that? That was a when you start up a jet ski.
But that's how it is. Okay, so fun fact. Back in my back in my old days while I was outside hoeing, I had a couple of work wives at Radio Shack when I used to work there.
Couple work wives at Radio Shack. Wait, no. Unpack it right there. Unpack it right there. A couple of work wives at Radio Shack when I know they were already dying as a company and they only had limited amount of employees.
Yeah.
And you said couple of work wives, which means it was you and 3 other females because it's all on the employment list.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. So there was 3. I was trying to get the 3rd one, so I backed 2 of them.
Based.
And this is going to be a diabolical story. Okay. So
Welcome to Our Sister Woes, episode 99.
So 2 of them, I was, I got promoted to assistant manager.
Talk about using your power.
So guess what? We had fun with his closing for branding time. So I made sure everything got done beforehand. So closing time, he would just lock the door.
Finish your work first, sex work after.
As soon as 9 o'clock hit, guess what? That door was locked. 9:01, we was in the back room. Going at it. So
For the record, I do love you, Gina.
She knows I was a menace before her.
Okay,
so
as long as we're on the same page
knows.
about this, okay?
I remind her all the time I was a hoe before we got together. So I had two associates that were, I would pretty much alternate with.
Based.
One of them was my throat goat. And I can say that comfortably because, this is how grabby, this is how fucked up we were. She had a boyfriend. So I was single during this time. So I was single. She had a boyfriend. And it was middle of the day. It was a Sunday. Cause it wasn't busy, but it was enough time for us to mess around. So she had gave me a blowjob. Cause I'm one of those guys, it takes a lot to make me come from head. And she figured out the magic.
You gotta be nasty with it. I agree.
So she she knew the trick. So I was yo, I'm trying to get one in the back room. So she got me one. She, went to town, and then her boyfriend pulled up. And literally, while she just finished swallowing me, she's walking out, wiping her her face
my babies
off.
with her.
And she goes out and kisses her boyfriend right on the lips. They didn't stop to drink no water or nothing. She just went straight to him and just mad passion, made out with them. I was like, yo.
That would make me not want to trust women ever again.
And I did it. I was like, yo, you're a fuck toy. You just.
I would never trust
You a
women again
sleeve.
for that.
Yeah, I was like, yo.
You never got a smart bucket after that point.
I was like, yo, that's so grimy.
Yeah.
I was like, you was just swallowing me and then you gave him.
You took my kids and kissed your lips with the lips my kids was on. Them niggas are still running for the eggs.
They're still running. One is probably stuck in between your teeth right now, and like you were kissing this dude. I'm like, that is diabolical. I was like, these hoes ain't shit.
I hate this planet. I swear to God, I hate this planet.
I was like, yo, that's wild.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I forgot how we got to this point in the story. Kind of joking, but
So my sentence of the day was, I need to be more my authentic self.
I forgot how we got to this point, but the story happened for a reason.
Oh God. Brandon Moore never dull with a story. I swear to God. My woe of the week. Because that was crazy work.
She was a menace. I'm not gonna lie.
No, nigga, you were a menace.
No, because she kept trying to fuck with me. With her, like she would have different boyfriends, and she would keep trying to suck my dick in front of like the different boyfriends. Like I'm like, you can't be doing this. Like the dudes in the next room. Like we went to a party, and her boyfriend was in the next room, and like we was in one room getting like we was in the kitchen, and she was trying to swallow. I was like, yo, your boyfriend is. Yeah, she was toxic.